knows at this moment he knew. Oh, sorry. Didn't see you guys there with the new shades and all. Yeah, welcome to Goat Ranch. You can probably tell where I'm going. As you can probably tell by the awful windows, I mean, be doing like subtitles here, but it is very windy. And you'll see why that comes into play other than the awful wind noise in a bit. But I'm just going to let out the goats real quick. If this thing will let me. Okay, got it. Okay. So you know what it's like to hit one of these guys. It's a standard old golf ball. Really nothing that special. However, there is something I've been wondering. What happens when you hit one of these things? Hey, Bill. For those who don't know, it's one of those ladder games where you throw them and then pretend this is a ladder and they go like that. And the goal is to get them on whatever level for a different amount of points. Either way, I mean, it's clearly just a regular golf ball with a hole drilled in it and I think that's paracord and hot glue. It looks like hot glue maybe it's some sort of two-part epoxy, I don't know. Either way, looks like just two standard golf balls tied together by a string. Something wrong with this cat, I don't know what it is. You good, cat? You good? Alright. Pardon that interruption. So long story short, I want to know what it's like to hit these. Now, I brought, you probably saw in the background, brought my golf clubs out. I'm gonna, and I have some tees, I have 30 golf balls, that's more than enough. I'm going to see what it's like to hit this and compare it to a regular standard golf ball with a putter, a pitching wedge, and a driver at least. I may do like a 5 iron or a 5 wood, maybe something in there. But I want to know what it's like to hit these. I want to know if it's just going to go in a jarbled mess or if it's just going to start spinning or do something crazy. I don't know. Or maybe it'll start tumbling end over end like that. Maybe like that. Maybe go boing, 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 boing. Just travel through the air like that. I don't know. But as you know, there's only one way to find out. I'm sorry, cat. I realized that golf ball landed on me. Probably didn't hurt too bad. There you go. Y'all know what a putter looks like. I'm just using a standard Top Flight club. Just like that. You've all seen what's gonna happen right here, so. Oh my gosh, it's already strange. I don't even know how to set this up. Do I set them up close together? Let's try it that way. Okay, it spins. At least when you set it up like that. So when they're spread out like that, they start spinning. And if they are close together, they kind of go chaotic. What happens? That's already 2 of my predictions coming true. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to set them up like so. And I'm betting the last and final prediction is going to come true. Indeed it did. Interesting. Very interesting. What's next? I'm going to go with my dirty 56 degree wedge. And we're going to have to step outside for that one. Once again, standard golf ball, Top Flight 3. Pretty cheap golf ball. I found it on a golfing range either way. You can see that. How about there? Can you see that okay? Good, that's right where you want it. Alright. Now, pretty standard golf ball. Actually, no, I'm going to frame that up differently. yeah, it's pretty standard when a decent clip. Now, this one I don't know what I'm going to do first. We're going to go and have them lined up sideways like so. Sorry, it's hard for me to see. Okay, good. Alright, we got that. Clear the camera. I am going to step out a little bit more because I don't want to risk hitting this camera. Anyway, interesting. May help if I actually hit it. Realize my form is probably not very good. I haven't played golf in a long time. Wow. Hopefully you saw that okay. Definitely started spinning. Alright. Let's go. Here we go. Little on the rustier side, but I'm hitting them where I want them for the most part. Very interesting. That went almost as far as the other one, and they pretty much flew right next to each other. That was as if I just hit two golf balls that were not tethered together. Very interesting. That probably went about 50% as far as, maybe a little less than 50% as far as a good hit with a single golf ball would do. I mean, it makes sense. Two golf balls, twice the mass. Makes sense due to Newton's law of conservation of energy. If you take a hammer and hit a smaller nail, that's going to drive into the wood twice as much as, say, hitting that same, hitting a bigger nail that's twice the size with the same hammer, with the same velocity. I mean, that's just basic physics right there. And I think that went about 40 yards-ish, 30, 40 yards. And with this wedge, I'm able to get them to go about 90 yards-ish, between 80 to 100 yards, maybe on the left side. But that went about 30 or 40 yards. So that's a little under half the weight. I mean, there is a bit more weight involved. I mean, the rope, and plus I wasn't using the same brand. Probably should have used the same Wilson brand, but come on, I'm trying to make this scientific enough. What more do you guys want? And the reason I said the wind was going to play a factor. Have y'all heard of the Long Ranger competition from Airgun Depot? Yeah. Instead of using their exploding targets, which are like $2 a pop, that's more than my budget of like maybe pennies a year from YouTube, if I manage to monetize it. Yeah, that's a bit out of my budget. I may be able to afford it after, let's see here, here's one, that would be about 300 years. Yeah, I'm a poor guy. Anyway, I'm going to use some ping pong balls, since those are far cheaper, for like pennies for one ball. And I had that saved up in ad revenue. Just kidding, I could probably find that within about 10 minutes on the street. Anyway, I'm going to be shooting that with my Croston Fire. Now, I've seen a bunch of different competitions and that. I've looked on Airgun Depot. They do it with like a, I think it was a Air Force Texan. Yeah, I think that's what it was. And they did it at 600 yards. Now, that seems pretty impressive for an air gun, until you find out that it's a, I think it's a couple hundred grain. It's like 230 grain, maybe 250 grain, 45 caliber projectile, traveling at 900 something feet per second. Yeah, it suddenly becomes a bit less impressive, and considering the fact that that gun that they use gets like a sub MOA, like half MOA group. I'm going to, and my Crosman Fire is a 177 7.9 grain wad cutter, and it's going to go about 900 feet a second. I'm going to be shooting a golf ball at 196 yards. And that is what's going to get me popularity, not just sheer long range. I'm going to go with the lowest of the low and hit it and beat. I'm going to go with the lowest of the low and outshoot somebody. I'm going to use a $130, sub $200 gun. I'm going to outshoot I think it's a $1,300 gun. I'm going to be using a cheap nitro piston brake barrel. They're going to be using a pre-charged pneumatic air rifle. It's going to be a lot more impressive when I use just the cheapo. The reason I haven't been uploading as often, I mean, you already noticed that, but it seems like during the school year I've been uploading a lot more often than normal. Hey Bill, how's it going? Seems like I've been uploading a lot more often than a lot more often in the school year than I have been during the summer. And the reasoning for that, my parents have this thing where, oh, it's summer, it's nice and warm, beautiful day out, go have fun outside. Nope. Go work. Oh, it's a beautiful day out, let's get some work done. And usually if it's light outside and it's not raining, she'll have us work. So I haven't had a whole lot of time except in the evening, and by that time I'm usually wiped out, so I don't really feel like filming. But I have gotten a bit more time on my hands, so I'm making this video. And who knows, maybe in the future I can be shooting some pest birds and put that on YouTube. And that'll be interesting. I don't exactly have a scope cam, but I can like try and position the camera, zoom in, line up my shot, boom. I can try and do it that way. Sort of like how Ted's Holdover does it until I get a scope mount. So I'll try and do that. That'll be a future video. You have wanted to see some hunting videos. And I do have that chest rig. I can try and hunt rabbits with that, for example. I want to figure out a way to build a camera mount for the head, so that way it's not made out of baling wire and it's a bit more comfortable and more adjustable. I can try and do that. We'll see.